Okay, hopefully we're live. We've got audio. Give people a few minutes to join up. Okay, let's get things on the road. Welcome to Aero League Racing, the beginning of season 20, and we are at Deep Forest Raceway. This is for Tier 6, and the format for this season, as always, is going to be a sprint race followed by a feature race. And we don't get the qualifying because this race happened on Monday, so we're going to jump straight in and we're going to do a bit of a grid walk and see who's who and what's going on, because this is a new tier for me. I'm not done much in the way of replays before, but happy to give everything a go. Now, I've seen this done before by a couple of other people, so we're going to try it as well. However, I don't have a list of drivers' names, so we'll do a quick run down the grid just to see the liveries of everybody. Some nice ones here, although I think this is the standard livery. For some reason, not showing up that one for the Lamborghini driver. So the McLaren, the BMW, no, it's not BMW, that's a Skyline. In what are we up to now? 4th position. So in 5th, we've got one of the Genesis, also sporting the standard livery. So clearly a little bug there. That's a bit of a shame. Hopefully in the feature it'll come good a little bit more. Then we got in 6th place one of the Renaults, a Mazda RX-8 with some very shiny wheels at least. Yeah, this is not going to work out quite so well because the liveries aren't working so much, which is a bit of a shame. However, very fancy looking Lamborghini Huracan there. The second Ferrari on the grid. Really fancy looking bit of kit, that one. Very nicely done. A Citroen, almost like a Batmobile, this thing. Veins and wings everywhere, very stealthy looking. The following, or partner Renault, back here. One of the BMWs, we're going to say, is a Scottish driver, perhaps, or at least sporting a Scottish livery. And here we've got a Lexus. So this is the final Citroen and another RX-8 at the back of the grid. So, I've done that wrong, haven't I? So there we go. So in first place on pole position we have Benke. Then in second position we've got Munken. Third in the McLaren is Revelit. Unimo in the GTR. Gum in the Genesis, very quick around here. Lord Hans in the Renault. Inorganic in the first of the Mazda RX-8s. Forerun Pusher, but we're going to call him Pusher, in the McLaren. Falcon in the Lamborghini, Aero in the Ferrari, Gaz in the Citroen, HK in the other Renault with his teammate, Airtown Jenner in the BMW, personal favourite of mine. I'm also in that car this season and it's pretty good, gotta say. The Lexus of Fudo now in 14th position, Boyan is in 15th, and bringing it up the rear in 16th place in the RX Vision is Banana. So we will line up for the start here. The Ferrari is pretty much the fastest thing off the line in this game, so we can expect him to pull away nice and early. Everything else behind is pretty good as well, but the Citroen is one to look out for, as that is also very fast off the line. So we're going to see a few fast entries into the first corner. Hopefully everyone gets through cleanly, but let's wait and see. So we've got 3, 4, 5 red lights. And they're off. Good start from everybody. Nobody getting a full start there, so that's good. And as expected, the Ferrari has just rocked away. Reveille is managing to keep everybody behind. And what's it like back here? Everybody has managed to make turn 1. Oh, there's a little something there, but everyone managed to keep hold of it. So that is a fantastic beginning to the race. Everybody making it through turn 1. And already Benke's getting a gap to Reveille in second place. But this is it's a very good track, but it is a very difficult track to get right, as Gunn is just showing there, going a little bit on the grass and getting squirrely, and Unimo has managed to get the switchback done on him. Jump back up with that. So yeah, it's a very, very good track, but it is very easy to get to make a mistake and to get your foot wrong on something, and that mistake can be massive in terms of your pace along this track. It's so easy to go slow and to make mistakes, and as we just come into the hairpin, HK is making a move on his teammate and a little bit of rubbing, but gives them a lot of space on the exit, so that's good driving from them. Not taking each other out. It's going to be good for the Constructors' Championship as we run that, as well as a Drivers' Championship. So that's the first lap done of the sprint race. Pretty sure everybody's on soft. That's something I forgot to check. So the two Citroens at the back here, it might not be quite their track with that car. Oh, he's got a half-second penalty. That'll be from cutting the corner just a little bit too much. We are now running weak penalties on this Aero League racing, but even so, it doesn't stop them from happening altogether, but at least it's not a full second. So we're going to jump back down as we see Falcon going a little bit wide through there, and Aero makes a little bit of contact, but nothing too bad. Has he got any damage? He hasn't, but that has allowed Airtown Jenner to close up the gap on him with the slipstream. We're going to see a move coming into the final hairpin. Let's wait and see if he makes the move. It doesn't look like he's going to. He hasn't made the position for that. So, and then we've got Banana at the back. So Benke is now got quite a big gap, and Reveille somewhere along the line has managed to get himself a 1.5 second penalty. That is going to be absolutely savage when it comes round on this lap. He's definitely going to drop into the lower half of the top 10 because although it's a 1.5 second penalty, that is going to roughly drop him down about 3 seconds by the time he's back up to speed. So that is going to be a difficult one for him. Let's see how much he can hang on to that, and if he manages to pull away from Monken behind him. everybody managing to keep it pretty straight as far as it goes with incidents so far. Not really many people taking out. Monken's gone very wide there. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets a penalty as well. But I think he did manage to get... No, there it is. It's got a half-second penalty, so that'll be on the following lap. He'll serve that. So Reveille goes down onto the left-hand side of the track to get out of everybody's way. Good driving from him, and he slots back into 5th place. That's pretty good considering that was a 1.5 second penalty. But I think he's just about to give himself another one because he went wide off of the curb, and he has got another one. Oh, what a shame. He's going to be screwing over that. Now there's a bit of a gap now before the top 5 to the remainder of the pack. And is there anybody in this little group of people that are fighting for anything? Fudo is getting all over the back of Pusher here, so let's stick with these guys just for a moment to see what they can do. This looks like, oh, and Inorganic just ahead of him has gone straight into the wall, so that's going to compromise him for the next 20 seconds at least, with a bit of damage. Obviously they're running weak damage in this league as well. It does heal after about 20 seconds, so it's not too bad through the twisties because there isn't that many places to overtake, but that has allowed Pusher to get a little bit of a run on him. So is he going to be able to make that stick as he comes into the final hairpin? And it looks like Pusher's done it. It's going to be a question of last of the late breakers as he comes into this hairpin slightly offline, but he manages to make that stick and get straight on the power. So that is a solid move from Pusher, making that one work. So Inorganic is definitely going to be chasing him down. He's going to want to make that position back, although he's taking a bit of a wide line there, straight out of the slip, so that's not going to help him. But here we go, Pusher's taking the defensive line again. As we come into turn 1, is Organic going to be able to hang it out the outside? Taking a wider line. Is he going to get the cutback? Can he get it stuck into the... No, not quite. It's a ballsy move, but it didn't pan out that time. So Pusher's managed to just break the gap a little bit bigger there, so give him some breathing room. But he can't rest on his laurels. All of them having caught up with HK, so now there's going to be a bit of a slipstream train through the midsection. And here, as we come into the back straight, can Inorganic make anything back on Pusher? It looks like he might be just a little bit too far back. That was a great shot. Sometimes the graphics on this game blow me away, even though it's a good few years old now. So, Inorganic keeps his 9th position, Pusher is up into 8th, HK 7th, I think that's about where he was, maybe in 6th before that. Reveille got a comfortable gap behind him and a fairly comfortable gap in front of him as well to Lord Hands, who's up in 5th now. So he's doing well. Gum in the Genesis can be a little bit of a handful, that car, if I'm honest, but he's doing a good job of keeping it on the black stuff. So let's just jump through the field, see how we're getting on. Unimo, I hope you're saying your name right, is doing well. So let's jump back down. Banana doing a PB for Sector 1. These guys running a little bit on their own. So Gaz has managed to pick himself up a 1 second penalty, so that's going to give him position to his teammate. Boulders Aero keeping it in 12th for the minute. Falcon in 11th, and Pusher's now in 10th. So who had the... So Inorganic has somewhere along that last couple of laps has managed to get his 2 places back, but he's managed to pick up a half-second penalty with it as well. So he is definitely going to fall back into the clutches of Fudo and Pusher. Now HK taking the defensive line into turn 1. Is Inorganic going to try and do the switch back again? Doesn't quite get the legs on him, although he's definitely going to try it. 2x2 and side by side through the entrance to the midsection, but he bottles that one, thinking better of it. So HK has got his mirrors full of Mazda, and the sound of that Mazda when it's behind you as well, if you're wearing headphones, is quite frankly frightening. A little bit of a touch, but you get away with that. A little bit of rubbing. So here comes the penalty for Inorganic. How far back is this going to drop him into the clutches of Pusher and Fudo? He's pretty safe with that one, isn't he? So we'll jump back up. Rivulet now is managing to close the gap of those in front of him, as Lord Hands and Gun are battling a little bit. That's going to slow them down, and that allows Rivulet to close the gap to him. The McLaren definitely is fast, especially along this start-finish straight. Everybody making a really good show of ability, keeping the cars really well spaced, and oh really, there hasn't been that much contact, so that's pretty good so far. Obviously we've got a feature race, and everyone's going to have different strategies for their tyres. So far everybody's on softs for this one, and with the maximum amount of grip and not a particularly high deck track, the softs will definitely last the full length of this one with no problems. So it does even the playing field a little bit with everybody, but they're all managing to make the most of it. Lap times are all very competitive as well. Unimo with a low 28, 1 minute 28, fastest lap at the minute. So that's not much slower than those of us in tier 4, to be fair. So that's very good pace from them. So let's just quickly jump through the pack again. We'll just drop back 1 second to Rivulet here as he's coming around the outside. Can he get anything done here? Lord Hands is definitely going to be holding the inside into turn 1. So it's going to be a question of last of the late breakers, and Rivulet takes the wide, perhaps more qualifying line, but he keeps his foot in it, and he's... Oh, they're still side by side. This is brilliant. Coming into turns 2 and 3, and Rivulet has managed to make an absolutely amazing pass on Lord Hands. That was phenomenal. He'll be very happy with himself. He should definitely get that one submitted to the overtake submissions. So he's going to be trying to catch Gum now, up in 4th. Monken in 3rd, managing to keep his nose very clean from everybody. However, up ahead, running away with it, Unimo and Benki are streets ahead now. They are in a different postcode, frankly, from everybody else. Look at the lap times, very consistent, low 128s, all within 2 or 3 tenths of each other every lap. So his consistency is very, very good, and you can see exactly the same with Benki. Both these cars have different strengths around this track. The Ferrari obviously very fast off the line and very quick coming out some of the slower speed corners, but the GTR definitely has some brilliant torque and handling ability to keep the speed up through the corners, although it can be a little bit aggressive on the throttle. But it seems like Unimo is doing a pretty good job keeping it pointing in the straight line. So we're on the penultimate lap now, and these two look like it's going to be a pretty slam dunk finish for the moment. So we'll just quickly drop back and see how everyone's getting on down here. Rivulet has managed to keep that gap to Lord Hans behind him, and they are a pretty safe distance to those behind. So Inorganic has managed to pick himself up another penalty, and this is not the time to be getting a penalty on your penultimate lap. That is going to allow HK to completely close up. As it comes into the final hairpin. Excuse me. Oh, and HK's gone too deep. He's definitely given any advantage away that he had there. Baldur's Aero behind him now, up into 9th, so there's been some definite action here, and there was something. So let's just see what this little gaggle of cars have managed to do. So Fudo, Boyan, Pusher and Gaz, all four very tight, coming through to the last sector. Now Pusher, is he having a little sniff to the inside? He's managed to... Oh, he's got a brilliant dive, and Gaz has done him as well. Boyan losing out 2 places there. Although there's a little bit of argy-bargy between both the Citroen drivers. Not too much to warrant any kind of steward submissions, but got to remember for the team just to play it cool with each other. So working for the Pusher is definitely hunting down for 10th place. That is going to give him reverse grid pole for the feature race, and he is always... Gaz also goes for a cheeky look, but that really wasn't going to go anywhere. That one, it was a closing gap. Pusher is all over the back of Fudo now. Oh, there is a little bit of contact, but Fudo manages to keep it, going a little bit wide, but there is literally nowhere to overtake in this section, so he manages to keep the place, but he is going to give... Oh, and he's gone wide in just before the bridge, and he's lost 2 places. Is it going to be a 3rd place? Oh, and he's got a penalty, so that is a slam dunk. That is 13th for him. So Pusher is coming through. Oh, and we've missed. Let's just jump back a couple of seconds and watch these guys come around the final corner for the final time. Well, it's not really the last corner, is it? There's a couple more here, but might as well be. Unimo getting a little bit squirrely on the exit, but keeps it pointing the right way and manages to not lose anything from that. So, for the first race of Season 20, Benke comes along and takes pole position. Unimo follows him in 2nd. Munken getting a fantastic result this season, getting a 3rd. 4th for Gum, Revelet in 5th, Lord Hans 6th. Very tight battle from these guys. Inorganic coming across the line in 7th, great result for him. HK in 8th, Baldazero in 9th. Pusher's managed to keep the 10th place. That gives him pole in for the feature. Gaz in 11th, Fudo in 12th, sorry, but 13th even. And here we have Etangena in 14th, Falcon and Banana fighting down to the line to get last place. So there we go. That was a brilliant opening race to the season, and now we have the main event to look forward to. This is going to be pretty good, I imagine. So bear with me one moment whilst we just get that one loaded. That's the feature. Now I'm pretty sure the lobby settings were the same, so it's another dawn setting for the race, so it kind of starts in the dark but it gets brighter as the race goes on, and a little bit warmer, but it's good for the tyres. There is all manner of strategies for this, so let's quickly just run through the grid and what tyres people are on. So let's quickly run from the back. So Banana starting on mediums. The number of strategies here is ridiculous. So there's the 2-stop, probably a medium soft soft or soft medium soft. And if you could make the 1-stop work, it is an absolute no-brainer. A medium soft would be the ideal one if you can make the tyres last, but failing that, a hard medium. So we'll see who's got what. So Banana starting on the mediums. Falcon probably going for the 1-stop as well, but a hard to start with, and then maybe going for a medium or a soft, depending on how well the tyres last, but the Lambo can be a little bit heavy on the rear. Airtown starting on the mediums, Fudo also on the mediums, Boyan on the mediums, and Gaz braving it on the soft from 11th, which might not be the best strategy, but he's definitely going to try and make up some places. Our pole finisher in 10th, Benke on the mediums, then Unimo going for the hard tyre. The Skyline is a little bit heavy on its tyre wear, so starting the race on the hard tyres there. Munkin also going for a hard start. Then Gum is going for a medium. Reveille also on a medium. Lord Hands on a medium. Inorganic braving it at the front on a hard. He is going to leave himself a little bit susceptible to people overtaking him on that one. Then HK on the mediums, to be expected really. Boulder Zero on the mediums, and Pusher also on hards on pole. So I imagine we're going to see a couple of positions lost right off, but it is a long race, so let's begin, shall we? Rolling start for the feature race. You can hear the beeps as they approach the line, and it's a good start. Boulder Zero closing that gap up pretty quick. Is he going to make a dive through the inside as he comes into turn 1? No. Oh, he does a little bit. Pusher going a little bit wide. Is that going to give him enough of a gap? This is pretty tight through the opening couple of corners. Managing to get through with no contact. Let's see what happens. Oh, Inorganic going a little bit wide, and I could definitely hear some tyre squeal back here. But it seems like everyone's managed to make it quite close. Reveille is having another look through Lord Hands. Is he going to make that one stick on the outside? Side by side through this entire section. That is brave driving from the pair of them. It looked like neither of them went on the brakes through that corner, but I'm sure they did. Okay, so looks like a pretty clean first lap from everybody. Falcon right up the back bumper of Airtown. Is he going to make a look for the inside as they come through? There he is. He's made the move. Is he going to make the brakes stick? And it's a no-brainer because Airtown has gone completely off, and I think Banana behind him followed him as well. So nice easy position for Falcon to make up there. Fudo in a much brighter livery this time round. That looks, yeah, very colourful. That's a lovely looking livery. So Boyan in 9th now, chasing Benke down, who's already made a couple of positions, but he's got himself a penalty, so that's going to cost him at least one position as they come onto the back straight when he serves that. But he'll be looking for any opportunity to make up positions even so, as he's all over the back of Gaz. going purple through that sector. Well, it's only lap 2. So Monken in 6th, having a much better race this time round. Lord Hands up in to 5th. Revelet up into 4th. That's a great result for him so far. Inorganic in 3rd. HK in 2nd, and Baldazero in 1st. I did say that Revelet had a great result, but he did start on pole, so given that I could have sworn he was on the hards earlier when we checked, but never mind. He's on the mediums now, so Inorganic is on the hards, sorry, that's where I made a mistake. So the Mazda sporting a monster livery instead of the red. You're not going to miss that one coming behind you, but he is allowing Revelet to chase him down here. Got to keep some clean laps. Going to be difficult on the hards. Revelet really does need to make a move. He wants to set himself up right so he can get the run on him as he comes onto the back straight. Use a little bit of the slipstream and then get the move done into the final hairpin. So we just drop back quickly to see a little bit further down the line. Falcon looking for a move, no, does a dummy, but sometimes that's enough, as it looks like it put Fudo off a little bit, just to spook people. Fudo managing to get away without a penalty on that corner whilst running wide on the exit. So, looking back here, Banana and Airtown, Unimo looks like he's definitely had some form of contact to be down in 14th, so that's going to be a difficult pill to swallow for him. Let's see what he can do for the rest of the race. Maybe his strategy will work out for him. Gum down in 15th and Pusher in last position. Very out of position for him, so that is a shame. So Baldazero in the Ferrari, back up front, putting out quite a big gap and getting current fastest lap as well. Pretty good on the mediums, a low 29. HK behind, pace not a million miles off. Now who did we have that started on softs? There were a couple of soft runners, so Monken's on softs, Gaz is on softs. He's managed to make up a good couple of places actually. And was it Boyan as well? No, it was just Gaz, but you can see already the tyre difference just between the mediums and the softs, so he's only got probably another 4 or 5 laps before his pace really drops off, so we'll wait and see until that sort of time what happens as Boyan looked to make an absolutely brilliant move. Might have made a little bit of contact with Benke, and if he did, he's playing it safe and giving the position back. Slow out of that corner, but that probably has allowed Fudo to close up to him a little bit more. Can Fudo do anything as they come down the start-finish straight? Looked like Benke had a penalty there as well. He does, so that is going to cost him as he comes around the end of this lap. But Fudo is chasing Boyan down at a rate of knots. Everyone taking a very slightly different line through here. Both of them getting a little bit loose on the exit. Getting a little bit of grass kicked up, which is not going to do anybody any favours, and he's just getting a little bit too keen. The arse end of that Lexus is getting loose as he runs wide through that corner, but then Boyan does as well, and he's gone for the dive. Is he going to make it stick? Boyan goes for a switchback, but I think Fudo's got that. And is that going to allow Falcon behind? close the gap. The Citroen really is quick. As they come into the final corner, is Boyan going to tuck back in, or is he going to go for the inside line? He's slowed down enough. I think he's given up on that position. And he's lost out. Boyan has lost out loads of positions there. What happened? Let's just jump back, shall we? Because that looked awful. He slows it right down. He's a crawling pace, and that allows Falcon to go by, and he's just so late on the power, and that's allowed Banana through as well. Banana in his RX-7 going for much more of an anime themed livery for the Japanese car. So then, Inorganic now looking to make a move to follow his teammate down the inside. Is he going to get the move done against Boyan? Not quite this lap, but that doesn't mean that there's not going to be a mistake any point through this mid-sector. So Unimo has managed to catch up to the back of the pack. There was quite a big gap with him before, but he's managed to close that up and maybe giving Airtown a little bit of a spook, but going a little bit loose through the exit, and has lost his position that he gained there. Oh, and Airtown has managed to completely wipe out by himself. Let's just have a quick follow along and see how he managed to do that. I imagine he's just come round over the bridge with a little bit too much, and yep, he's on the grass, and that's just parked him straight in front of Unimo and spun him round. So no one to blame but himself there, but it's only one position that he's lost, so not too bad in the grand scheme of things. But Unimo has managed to get a penalty. What was that for? Oh, there we go. Just goes over the white line before the curb. If you go beyond the white line just before the curb starts, that's it. Once you're on the curb, you can go as wide as you like on the curb, and there's no penalty. But as soon as you go over it before that part, it's a half-second penalty. So he's got the position, but the penalty might do a little something on the next lap. We'll have to wait and see. So follow these guys as we move forwards. Boyan searched his penalty on that last lap, but that didn't make any difference to his position. Inorganic up to 11th now. Banana in 10th. Looking after his tyres. Falcon in 9th, and hardly anywhere on those cars, so that's going well for him, looking after those nicely. Fudo in the Lexus is beginning to hurt his tyres already. 7 laps in, and the front right is nearly halfway down, so he needs to do a slightly better job looking after them if he's going to go for a one stop. I think his tyres looking pretty good. Most of the MR cars will have a little bit more rear tyre wear than the FR cars, but he's doing a pretty good job looking after those tyres. And then the other big thing to think about is whether or not anybody's fuel saving as well. So far it looks like everyone's just revving it out. Is Benke going to get a move here? He looks for the inside, goes for a dummy. Is it a dummy or is it actually a move? And it is a move. Gaz just going completely wide and allowing him through there. Definitely could have been a bit more defensive, but he might now have a run in the slipstream coming down into turn 1. That Citroen is very quick in a straight line, and surprisingly the Ferrari has managed to hold on to that. Oh, and Gaz has been way too late on the brakes. We'll just follow him along that one again. What does he do? Oh, he just looks like he brakes a little bit too late. That takes avoiding action. So fair play, although that does give him damage, and his softs are pretty well knackered now. So I think we'll see him come in very soon. Oh, and he's got dirty tyres as well. He's just all over the place. The reduced grip from that is going to last for a good 30 seconds. Oh, and he gives himself a penalty as well. He is going to be absolutely screwing inside that cockpit. Now Banana's managed to give himself a half second penalty as well, which is going to definitely give some positions away with those behind him, because he... Oh, and it's gone up to a 1 second penalty now as well. So never mind those who are immediately behind him, even that in 14th might get a position here as well. There it goes, Boyan and Unimo taking full advantage of that. And is that Gum as well? Nope, wrong way. Gum's going for a dive down the inside, and he's just about got ahead of him. But Banana has managed to just get enough on the exit. They're going side by side into the straight. Can they make it? Gum's got the inside line now. Indeed, Jenna's just behind as well. Gum makes that move stick. That is a beautiful clean move from him. So that's well done from Gum. But he can't rest on his laurels, because Banana is definitely going to want that position back. So Boyan has managed to somehow close that gap to Unimo again. And justice for Jenna. I assume I'm going to have missed part of an incident somewhere along the race there. So Gaz getting a little bit loose and allowing Unimo to close up, and Boyan's pretty much dropped it, but then Gum's now got a run on Boyan as well. Is he going to do the same thing? He looks for the inside, late on the brakes, doesn't quite make it, although Boyan's gone deep. Oh, and he's done another one. This must be his favourite move. Now he's got the left hand side of the track as it comes down onto the start finish straight, and I think it's already done. It is. Boyan's got nothing from that one, but will he get the slip and make a move into turn one? I've also not seen anyone. Oh, there he is, yeah. So Gaz has come in to the pits. He's taking a little bit of fuel on. We're going to see what tyres he comes out on. This might be, it's a full tank, so it might be the mediums. It is the mediums, going for a bit of a reverse strategy. Considering where he started, he might have been better off starting on the mediums, because he's definitely going to lose a bit of pace towards the end, although the softs don't last that long, but with a heavy fuel load, the mediums might fare a bit better than the softs. So let's see where he can manage to pull back to. Boulder's Aero with an even faster top speed now, 129 flat. He's in a race by himself, isn't he? Now he is not only in a different postcode, he is in a different time zone to Revelet behind him, but also Revelet now has a comfortable gap over Lord Hands in third, and again another comfortable gap over his teammate in fourth. So this is going to be a brilliant result for the Renaults if this is how it finishes in the Constructors' Championship. Munken behind, chasing him down, not letting him get away too much. You can see the difference in tyres now between HK and Munken. The hards coming into their window of operation where they're going to be able to be a bit more effective than anyone on the mediums, and they've got 7 more laps of medium running to do if that is their strategy. They're going for the one stop. It was about 18 laps, 19 if you could make it. I think the McLaren was pretty good on its fuel, as was the Alfa in some other races. So we'll have to wait and see what he goes for. HK may opt to pit either this lap or next if he's doing a 2-stop. Oh, Munkin really closing the gap down there, but going a little bit deep and losing any advantage that he might have had. HK managing to still use the life of the soft tyre to gap Munkin a little bit coming out of the corners. So we'll drop back down the line and see Munkin's teammate Falcon hugging the inside line, not giving Fudo any form of help of a slip at all coming down that straight. But comes in, goes a little bit wide out of the corner, but doesn't seem to cost him too much. So this is also another good result for both of the Lamborghini drivers. And oh, Fudo just cuts a country mile off that corner. How is it? There we go. A 1 second penalty for that one. That is going to cost him dearly. Inorganic, he's going to make full advantage of that. Boulder's Aero. Let's go. I'm Boulder's Aero in that race. Watch my heart go broke on the last lap, right? Something to keep an eye on though. We're approaching the halfway mark so far on this race as Fudo gets the penalty served and allows Inorganic to swing by Gum now, making an excellent race up into 9th and chasing down Fudo as well. Fudo's tyres definitely suffering a bit more with the heavy front end of the Lexus, but it is a wonderful car to drive. If you haven't tried it, definitely go out and give it a go. So, as we follow down, Unimo now up into 10th. Bit of a recovery drive for him. Only 1 position down from where he started. The hard's still working pretty well for him. Coming up to halfway and halfway on his tyres, so looking after them quite well. And his fuel load is also pretty good. Considering, so he's doing a good job of fuel management as well. This should definitely help him as he comes into pit and might save himself a good 2 or 3 seconds from that fuel saving. Benke behind him, you can see the difference in fuel. Look at that, what's it, maybe an 1/8 of a tank, just under, just from fuel saving. So it's definitely going to pay dividends when it comes to pit stop time. And we're going to just quickly jump up as Gum has managed to make a brilliant dive. Let's just jump back and see that one again. Super close coming onto the back straight, gets the slip, dives for the inside, brakes perfectly and parks it on the exit in just the right spot that Fudo can't make any kind of attack against him. And Gum has made a fantastic move there. So now Gum is up to 8th. We saw Unimo he was in 10th and he's coming into pit off the hards, so that's 14 laps he's going to do on the mediums, or 15 laps on the mediums, I imagine. We'll drop back and see this one. So it's going to come out in maybe last place, but there is obviously still a lot of pits to happen, so that might be the best call that anyone could make in that position. And now he's got lovely fresh softs, and although he's got Gaz to try and clear, who is on slightly used mediums now, if he can get that overtake done, he'll have a bit of fresh air in front of him to get some decent lap times in. So it doesn't look like Unamo's doing anything at the minute, although there are yellow flags being waved, so he really can't do a fat lot. What happened in that, we have no idea. Oh, Jenna has managed to make another mistake. All the damage. Is it going to be the same corner? It's the same corner, and it's the same accident again. Oh man, 2 for 2. Poor old Jenna. That is somewhat embarrassing. There's no nice way to say that. So maybe thinking about jumping onto some hards, or going to hang it out for another few laps and make the switch to the softs. So Boyan is still going very slowly around that last hairpin. Not too sure why he's going that slowly, but there we go. So Jenna does come into the pit and is going to change their tyres. Pusher now still doing pretty good. You can see the hards lasting very well, and also doing a pretty good job on the fuel. The McLaren probably the best car on its tyres and fuel at this track combination. Banana in 11th, his tyres are looking pretty well spent now. Benke in a similar position, but even worse on fuel, so it might not be his tyres that call him into the pit, it might be his fuel load. However, Fido's fuel is pretty good because the tank on the Lexus is massive, but his tyres are absolutely screaming. He is definitely going to look after that front right. A little bit less trail braking if he can, and he's got a warning triangle on there, not too sure what that one's for. Now we're seeing Benke come in, he's coming off his mediums, lap 15, not too sure what he's going to be able to do here. That's too much for the soft definite, so he might be going for a soft. Let's wait and see what he does, and then we'll jump back forward. I can see some battles happening on the track map. In fact, here we go. Unimo now, all over the back of Gaz. He's going to look for the inside. This could be a pretty simple move. Oh, a little bit of argy-bargy, and he bails on it. But Gaz goes deep, way too deep, and that gives Unimo position. Another little tap. So what can Unimo do here? Gaz really giving what for. Got his elbows out. Another little tap from Unimo. Oh, and another little tap again. These two just need to calm down just a tiny bit as Boyan goes wide, compromises his teammate's line, and is that going to give it to Unimo? It does. But it's difficult on the outside of that corner when you're on the marbles, and Gaz has got the inside again. Is there a little switchback going really squirrely for Gaz? That's going to give Unimo the slip again, coming down the back straight. And while all of this is happening, Benke's managed to close that gap, and he's going to be looking for a little sniff of position as well. Gaz going for the defensive line. We're going to see a little switchback here from Unimo, taking the wide exit. Oh, and Boyan's gone way too deep, and so has Gaz. He's gone well off the track, trying to avoid his teammate. Somehow he's managed to keep the position, but there we go, a penalty, 1.5 seconds. That is absolutely dismal for him. So Unimo is up on position, Boyan trying to make his teammate. Will there be a bit of team orders with that kind of penalty? Might as well just give the position back to his teammate now. Goes deep, way too deep. Somehow manages to keep the position over Boyan though. Oh, and that's it. He's gone way too deep again. So we're going to see any time added because he's gone off the curbing completely as well. But I think he went slow enough over all of that he might have got away with it. Yeah. Dirty tyres though, so you can see him all over the place. Not going well for him. So Benke gets the extra position there just whilst he watches all the battling happening ahead of him. Boyd up to 13th. Now Unimo's managed to make a nice big gap behind him and he'll be chasing Fudo down, who is on the softs, and that's definitely going to be a 2-stop from him as well. So he needs to put in some qualifying laps now. We need some 28s from Fudo in order to make this strategy work, I think, because the time lost in the pit lane for the second stop really isn't good. And Falcon's come in now, and Inorganic and Gum. So both the hard drivers, the hard tyres drivers opts into mediums, and Gum going to the softs also. I know that's the one-stop strategy, so time for him as well to put in some qualifying laps, because Banana ahead of him has decided to go out for one extra lap, but that will stand him better on the last lap at least, because Gum may regret that if his tyres don't quite make it. So Baldazero is in the pit, Rivulet's in the pit. Munkin has managed to stay out just enough fuel, maybe just enough fuel. He's going to have to fuel save a little bit, but those hard tyres still got plenty of life in them. However, we will see Baldazero and Rivulet jumping onto the softs out of the pit exit here, to be expected. So what can Munkin do? His times are pretty average in the 130s, which isn't bad for a hard tyre. So he just needs to keep this lap completely clean and not run out of fuel, which is more the point. So Baldazero, fresh tyres, that Ferrari is going to feel absolutely sublime, as is the McLaren of Reveille. Lord Hand switch into the hard tyre. Well, that is a choice. Not a choice I would have made, but it is a choice. However, his teammate, running a little bit wide, on the complete opposite strategy, gone for the softs, so it's going to be a pretty slam dunk move within the next lap or two that HK is going to get his teammate, but it's still a good result. 4th and 5th for the Renaults. So Munkin is into the pits. Has he done enough to keep from Baldazero? Nope. Oh, it looked like he was down to 1 or 0% fuel there as well. So is there enough of a gap from these guys? Is he going to come out in front? Munkin's got the position and he's out. So Munkin holds on to that 3rd position with a lovely set of fresh boots, and as they get up to temperature, I think he's going to be pretty safe from his rival behind on the hards. HK not managing to close the gap as much as I would have thought on those softs, although he's just set his personal best sector time. So Gum now into 6th place. This is a fantastic result from him. Oh, as Inorganic goes absolutely spearing off into the background. Let's just... Oh, that's the wrong button. Let's just see what happens here. Drops the gear a little bit too soon there, gets a little tap. Oh, that is absolutely terrible from Vudo, whose soft tyres are already really showing. Oh, and another one. So Falcon making a bit of a daisy chain mistake there. Is there anyone behind? No one that's going to make a difference. So you can see Inorganic does slow down a little bit, which means that Fudo has to slam on the anchors, and then that allows Falcon to go straight into the back of Fudo because he's braked in a position that he wouldn't normally find himself so close to, but gets a penalty probably for contact. And whoa, what is just, oh dear, and Fudo might have got a little bit argy-bargy there because of that contact. Not liking it, so he's got his elbows out at this point. Wow, that is, wow, yeah, that is interesting. Quite a lot of lag there, so unfortunately Falcon coming off the worst there, already got a penalty, now he's got damage. That is not so good for him. However, Unimo now coming up into 8th, he's going to look at the inside. Fudo goes deep, gets it stopped on the apex, and away. Brilliant move. Oh, although he hit the limiter there, so that's just going to allow Fudo to close the gap, and they're right behind each other. Is Fudo going to have a look coming in to the first corner? He does. He goes for the inside. Both on softs. Brakes late. Is he going to get it turned in time? You know he's going to get the switch back. Oh, that was a brilliant move. And I think he's done it. He has. There we go. By the time he gets to turn 2, the move is done. So that is a brilliant overtake from Fudo there, as Inorganic just goes off for a little picnic in the woods. What did he do? Let's just see. As he comes round, oh, just a little bit too much power, gets the rear out and then loses control. So that is a shame for him. Now Unimo is going to be looking for that position back. Can he do anything as he comes through the back straight? He wants to get himself set up nicely through here, be a little bit more patient perhaps, although he does get the inside line. Is that going to compromise him? Yeah, a little bit too slow through there. I think if he'd just followed Fudo a little bit more, he definitely could have set himself up better coming onto the straight and would have got the overtake done in here. However, there is still the hairpin and he's going for it. Fudo looks like he's gone a little bit too deep on the brakes. This could be a slam dunk. Oh, and he's gone off. Fudo's gone off the track as well, so that's going to be a penalty. Oh, somehow he's managed to get away with that. That did look like he went completely over the white line. Clearly not going quick enough to warrant a penalty, so didn't make any advantage. So gets away with that one. That was a sigh of relief for him. So Unimo is now back up into 7th place, back into the sort of positions he should have been in at the start of the race. Gum is in 6th, having a brilliant race for himself. Lord Hands, as we expected, swapped position with his teammate as he's on hards. So HK now up into 4th. Both of Renault's doing very well. Munkin got a pretty good gap behind him from HK, so I should say this race is pretty well sorted for him. But what about these guys? So Boulder Zero is still running pretty cleanly up here with a 28.3. That's actually pretty close to what we were in tier 4. So despite the addition of a new tier in tier 6 this season, the pace is still pretty good from these guys. However, whilst it is good, it's not very interesting when you're all that far out in the front. So we're going to jump back to these guys a little bit further down where there's a bit of action happening. So Gum has been closed up by Fudo and Inorganic. And Fudo's going for a dive on the inside. That might be a bit optimistic. Gum has managed to keep his speed up. Gum doing a great defensive job there. Fudo, whilst compromised in his line a little bit, has allowed Inorganic, and I think Fudo's managed to cut the corner a little bit too much there again. But will he get a penalty? He has. He just needs to be a little bit more patient through this mid-section, because there really isn't anywhere to overtake. So just try and set yourself up for basically the other 2/3 of the track. So Unimo has managed to benefit the most out of that, getting up into 6th position now. So an excellent recovery drive from him, considering how far down the pack he was. As Gum looked like he went a little bit wide, but I think that's just the camera angle. So there we go. Oh, and we do have something. What happened there? Let's just quickly jump back. Who was this? So Fudo is coming in to make... Oh, and he just taps the back of Falcon, and he realises that, as Falcon absolutely nails it. So kudos for Fudo for waiting up. That's good sportsmanship, but like we said before, just a little bit too keen in certain places, but ultimately that's cost the pair of them a decent amount of points, so that is a shame for them. Now Inorganic still all over the back of Gum. Can he defend? Because Inorganic definitely has better tyres. Gum's softs are going to be starting to feel a little bit used by now. Although he's managing to keep it pretty clean. Inorganic trying to get a good run here. Will we see a dive into the final hairpin? Nothing wrong with the dive, as long as it's clean. He's dropped back a little bit. The power out the corners of that Genesis might be a bit too much for the Mazda this time round. However, we've got another long straight, so if Inorganic gets a good exit out of that hairpin, but it definitely looks like he has done, we could see this coming into the beginning of the lap at turn 1. If he makes a move, Gum isn't going defensive, he's leaving the door wide open. Inorganic goes for it. And is this going to be the move done? Gum goes too wide, a bit more of a qualifying line, but I think Inorganic's managed to make a brilliant move out of that one with his better tyres. So now he's got a bit of clean air. You can see he's already starting to pull away from Gum. So how is Unimo going to be faring? Because he pitted a lot earlier and he's on his mediums. So let's see what Inorganic can do here. Can he use the fresher tyres to his advantage and close that gap to Unimo? Coming along the back straight now, a little bit too much of a gap probably, but maybe in the next couple of laps, if he can, he'll make that one work. Now I can see some people down here. What have we got? So Gaz is closing up to the back of Fudo. Not quite enough. And Fudo has made his second pit for another set of softs, so I can't imagine that Gaz is going to be able to close that. And he's got a half-second penalty, so he's definitely going to be able to. At least not in the next lap, as he will serve that then. So moving forward, Banana in 13th, just got to look after his softs to get that result. Airtown on the mediums. I can't remember if they started on the mediums as well. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I really can't remember. I remember they pitted a bit earlier than I thought. It was around lap 13 or 14, wasn't it? So there may be an incoming penalty for this one, because I'm pretty sure unless they stop to get a soft or a hard, you can't use the same compound. You have to change. You have to use at least 2 different compounds of tyre. So medium soft, hard medium, hard soft, any combination like that. So there may well be a 1 minute penalty applied at the end for Jenna here, which will be a shame. Now up ahead, Falcon, pretty much in a race of his own. Same for Pusher. No one behind him, and a gap in front that might be able to be closed in time. There's only 2 laps left, but Benke is on the hard, so we shall have to wait and see. Can Pusher do anything? So coming through the midsection now, you can, if you get your corners right, you can make up a lot of time. We've got something back here, so I think that might have been Fudo getting through ahead of Banana, but we might have missed that one, but we're not going to jump back to it, because let's jump forwards now to the front end of the grid. So Baldur's Aero, whoa, and there it is, just in time. So the rear right of that Ferrari is screaming. And there he goes, he just gets on the power a little bit too much and into the barrier. And that's completely allowed Reveille through. That is, oh man, after such a dominant performance with the whole race as well, he's going to be absolutely kicking himself. And even Munkin now, he's managed to close that gap up as well as Munkin. So, oh, and he's gone again. Oh man, that is, oh dear. Oh, and yep, just driven straight into the barrier again, completely out of frustration, I imagine. You've got to try and do your best to look after your tyres. Oh, and oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh, this is awful. Oh, and I think he's completely given up, hasn't he? We'll give him some dignity and give him some space. That is a shame. So, Reveille, you've got to be there to make the most of things, just like George Russell. And there we go, George Reveille Russell getting pole in the feature race of season 20, first race of the season, and Munkin doing a brilliant job as well, coming in second. Lord Hans somehow gets ahead of his teammate again, so a third and a fourth place for the Renault drivers. That is a fantastic result for them. HK celebrating along the pit wall. Inorganic coming along in fifth, great result for him. Unimo getting himself back up to sixth. Pusher, great job for the McLarens, 7th place. Benke in 8th. Gum falls down the pack a little bit into 9th, but look at that front right tyre. Absolutely nothing left. Boulder Zero comes along in 10th. That is a shame. Right where we started. So no positions lost, no positions gained. However, Falcon in 11th, then we've got Airtown in 12th, pretty good considering the off-track excursions. Fudo comes along the line in 13th, Gaz in 14th, Boyan is, I don't know, Banana gets the 15th place. Boyan must have crossed the line, must have been lapped and crossed the line. So there we go. That is the end of the first two races of the sprint and finish feature of the first race of the season. Now, I did take a screen grab of the standings. So, in top spot of the championship at the moment, before Stewards' results, if there were any submissions through there were a few bits of contact. Whether or not that ends up going to Stewards, we'll find out later in the week on Discord. But for the moment, in first place of the championship, we have Munken on 32 points. Then Revelet in second on 31 points, and Unimo in third on 27 points. So the top three there separated by only a few points really, so it is still anyone's game. Fourth place Benke in with 26, Lord Hands on 25th, so he's in 5th place. Who is in the... Oh, that's HK in 6th. The names are different on the spreadsheet. With 21 points, and then Inorganic in 7th with 20 points. So just in the top 7, there's very little spread. Obviously, it's only the first race, but we've definitely got some exciting races ahead of us and some people to look out for. And hopefully you can make it next week for Tokyo Expressway South counterclockwise. A much more tyre-friendly track than this one. So that's it from me. I hope you've enjoyed that. Now, there is also another race that you can watch on Aero. I think Ross did Tier 2 earlier as well, so make sure you go and check that one out. Some great racing over there. So that's it from me. Thanks for watching.